rising Republican Senator Rand Paul unveiled a new plan endorsing a pathway to citizenship for our millions of illegal immigrants. He says both sides need to give a little in order to get some real reform done here. This happened just moments ago. Listen to what he had to say.
I think the conversation needs to start by acknowledging that we aren't going to deport 12 million illegal immigrants. If you wish to work, if you wish to live and work in America, then we will find a place for you. In order to bring conservatives to this cause, however, those who work for reform must understand that a real solution must ensure that our borders are secure. We must also treat those who are here already with understanding and compassion without also unduly rewarding them for coming illegally.
Well, the U.S. border with Mexico extends nearly 2,000 miles. Securing that border has been a very difficult task that has not yet been accomplished. Joined now by Angela Kelly, the Vice President for Immigration Policy and Advocacy at the Center for American Progress, and Bob Dane is a Communications Director at the Federation for American Immigration Reform. Welcome to both of you. Angela, you were there this morning, I understand, at this speech. What was the reaction?
Very positive. I think he's going to start a new club of Republicans who stand with Rand. He got a lot of applause. I think there's a growing recognition, particularly from the business perspective. This was a Hispanic Chamber of Commerce breakfast, that it's an economic winner, that we need to have reform. So we have 11 million people who are coming forward, paying taxes. We have a sensible legal immigration system is something we need, so we attract the best and the brightest, and that people come with visas, not with smugglers. So it was very well received.
Yeah. Bob, you know, this will not sit well with many of Rand Paul's Tea Party followers, but you hear what Angela says. You know, the feeling is that they need to get with the program. That's what the other side's saying. What do you say?
Yeah, I don't think this is going to be stand with Rand. It's going to be fall with Paul. Look, we need to dispense with the notion that amnesty has anything to do at all with reforming our nation's immigration system. And Republicans need to understand that amnesty has nothing to do with reforming the party. Look, party politics should not be playing into what we do with immigration. But if the GOP is going to be bound and determined to do it, here's a news flash. It's not going to work. You'd have to be deaf, dumb, and blind to see there's not a civil war waging on this issue, much to Obama's delight. If you put your ink on an amnesty bill, you're not going to get any credit for it. The Democrats will steal all of the thunder. American workers are going to go bananas because they don't think much of flooding the market with 11 million legalized workers. And finally, the most important is, sadly, most illegal aliens are heavily government dependent, and an amnesty just gives the Democrats 11 million voters.
Well, here's what I see. You know, you look at the tide of people who look like they're going to run in 2016. Rand Paul is, you know, looking to clearly be one of those. Let's take a look at a couple of the other very big names who are out there for 2016 and hear what they're saying on this.
We're suggesting that there be a path to legalization, that people that are here come out from the shadows. That is a far cry from telling people they just have to go back to their home country.
We can also help grow our economy if we have a legal immigration system that allows us to attract and assimilate the world's best and brightest.
Angela, you know, you can add Chris Christie to that list. Paul Ryan has also spoken out in favor of this. I mean, it clearly seems to be where those people believe they need to be headed if they want to get elected. I don't know if they're right or not, but what do you think?
Yeah, I think that's right. And the RNC said the same thing just these past few days. I mean, look, yes, you can argue the politics on it. I do think it's critical for the Republican Party to put this issue behind them so that they can try to engage in earnest the Latino voter. Right now, saying that you're going to deport their grandmother is not a winning way to someone's heart. But I also just think that the policy speaks to the time for reform, that we need a solution so that, yes, we know who's here. We make sure that they're paying taxes, that we have a legal immigration system so that we have needed workers when our economy gets stronger. The reason you have so many businessmen applauding for immigration reform is because it works for the American economy.
You know, I mean, Bob, there's just the practical sense, as Rand Paul said at the top of that, of you know, trying to kick all these people out of the country. It doesn't sit well with voters in many ways, apparently. We learned in the last election. And, you know, it doesn't sit that well with employers either, many of whom are having those jobs filled by many of those people.
Well, of course, it's all about cheap labor. That's why they're behind amnesty. And you don't need to kick out everyone. You simply need to dry up the incentives that cause so many to come and so many to stay. You know, talking about practicality, here we are moving into a contentious and a protracted, yet again, amnesty battle, when instead the easier and the more practical thing is to do what the law says. Congress has got to compel this president to enforce the laws already on the books. Do what the law says.
Well, you know what the White House
and
would say? They would say that they've ejected more people than the previous White House.
Yeah, that's exactly right. They've deported more people. We have most money being spent at the border right now. The border is the most secure that it's ever
fallacy.
been.
Deportations are down. The only people who are being...
We're almost out of time, but I'll let you respond to that, Bob. Go ahead.
The only individuals who are being deported are those with violent criminal histories. The net effect of the usurpation of Congress when the president rewrote our immigration laws is that simply violating immigration laws now is inconsequential. Congress has got to enforce the laws, compel the president to do it. And for extra credit, let's initiate mandatory nationwide E-Verify and protect American jobs
We got to leave it there.
from illegal aliens.
Bob and Angela, thank you very much.